Most people imagine that living well has to be expensive. They picture luxury as something reserved for the wealthy, hidden behind high prices and exclusive neighborhoods. But what if there were a country where a full meal costs less than a cup of coffee in many Western cities, where centuries-old palaces stand beside lively modern streets, and where just $10 can comfortably carry you through an entire day? Welcome to Uzbekistan, one of the world's most overlooked destinations, and for many travelers, one of the most affordable countries on Earth. Sitting quietly in the heart of Central Asia, Uzbekistan rarely makes international headlines, yet it has been shaping world history for more than 2,000 years. Long before airplanes and highways connected continents, merchants, explorers, scholars, and conquerors crossed these lands along the legendary Silk Road. Every caravan carried silk from China, spices from India, precious metals from Persia, and ideas from every corner of the known world. Today, echoes of that incredible past remain alive in cities whose blue domes and towering minarets continue to amaze visitors just as they did centuries ago. Covering nearly 450,000 square kilometers, Uzbekistan is larger than many people expect. It is also one of only 2 countries on Earth that is doubly landlocked, meaning every neighboring country is landlocked as well. At first glance, that might seem like a disadvantage, but throughout history, it transformed the nation into a crossroads, where civilizations met instead of simply passing by. Persians, Turks, Mongols, Russians, Arabs, and countless others left their mark here, creating a culture unlike anywhere else in the world. Today, around 38 million people call Uzbekistan home, making it the most populated country in Central Asia. Although modern cities continue to grow rapidly, much of the population still lives in towns and villages where traditions remain deeply rooted. Family bonds are strong, hospitality is almost sacred, and visitors often discover that complete strangers are eager to welcome them with tea and freshly baked bread before asking a single question. Despite its rich history, Uzbekistan is often defined by something much simpler in the eyes of travelers: its incredibly low cost of living. Imagine starting your morning with warm, freshly baked naan bread pulled straight from a traditional clay oven. Add a cup of fragrant green tea, fresh fruit from the local market, and perhaps a pastry filled with meat or pumpkin. In many places across the country, that breakfast costs only a few dollars. By lunchtime, you can enjoy a generous serving of plov, Uzbekistan's national dish, prepared with rice, carrots, onions, tender lamb, garlic, and fragrant spices. It's hearty enough to satisfy almost anyone, yet often costs less than $5. Even transportation feels surprisingly affordable. Taxis around major cities are inexpensive, public transportation is efficient, and intercity trains connect historic destinations with remarkable speed. Travelers quickly realize that their biggest challenge isn't managing their budget, it's deciding where to spend their time, because every city offers another chapter of an extraordinary story. The capital, Tashkent, surprises almost everyone who visits. Unlike many people expect from Central Asia, it is modern, spacious, and remarkably clean. Wide boulevards stretch beneath rows of trees, fountains decorate public squares, and cafes buzz with young professionals enjoying conversations over coffee and tea. Soviet architecture still stands proudly in many districts, reminding visitors of the country's decades within the Soviet Union. Yet new skyscrapers and shopping centers signal Uzbekistan's ambitions for the future.
Perhaps nowhere is this blend of old and new more visible inside the Tashkent metro. Opened during the Soviet era, it was the first subway system in Central Asia. But calling it simply a subway almost feels unfair. Each station resembles an underground museum: marble columns, elegant chandeliers, colorful mosaics. Intricate ceilings and artistic lighting transform an ordinary commute into something unforgettable. Every stop carries its own identity, celebrating literature, science, space exploration, or Uzbek culture. Walking above ground, visitors quickly notice another unexpected detail. Chevrolet cars seem to dominate nearly every street. Whether it's taxis, family vehicles, or police cars, the familiar American badge appears almost everywhere. The reason lies in government policies and local manufacturing partnerships established years ago, making domestically assembled Chevrolet models significantly more affordable than imported vehicles. As a result, they have become part of everyday life across the country. Yet Uzbekistan's greatest wealth isn't found on its roads or in its cities. Beneath the ground lies an abundance of natural resources that quietly power much of its economy. The country ranks among the world's leading producers of gold, while also possessing significant reserves of natural gas, uranium, copper, and other valuable minerals. Agriculture plays an equally important role. Endless cotton fields stretch across vast landscapes, earning cotton the nickname white gold. Fruits such as apricots, melons, cherries, pomegranates, grapes, and peaches flourish under the region's intense sunshine, filling local markets with colors and aromas that tempt every passerby. But numbers and exports tell only part of the story. What truly defines Uzbekistan is its people. Hospitality here isn't a marketing slogan designed for tourists, it's a deeply rooted cultural value passed from generation to generation. Guests are treated with genuine respect, and refusing to offer food or tea to a visitor would feel almost unimaginable in many households. Tea itself occupies a special place in daily life. Whether black or green, it accompanies nearly every conversation. Business meetings begin with tea. Family gatherings begin with tea. Unexpected visitors are welcomed with tea. Unlike many cultures where coffee fuels the day, Uzbekistan moves at the comforting rhythm of countless teapots shared between friends and relatives. Meals often become lengthy social occasions rather than quick necessities. Families gather around large tables filled with fresh bread, salads, grilled meat, pickled vegetables, seasonal fruits, and steaming dishes prepared according to recipes passed down through generations. Eating together strengthens relationships, celebrates community, and reminds everyone that sharing food means sharing life itself. One of the country's most famous culinary traditions revolves around plov. While many nations have rice dishes, Uzbekistan has elevated plov into something almost ceremonial. Massive cast iron cauldrons are used to prepare enormous quantities during weddings, festivals, and public celebrations. Skilled cooks carefully layer ingredients before stirring everything together over open flames, creating flavors that vary slightly from one region to another. Locals often debate which city prepares the finest version, and every family proudly believes their own recipe deserves the title. Religion also shapes daily life, but perhaps not in the way many outsiders imagine. Around 90% of the population identifies as Muslim, yet Uzbekistan maintains a distinctive balance between tradition and modernity. Mosques stand beside restaurants, shopping centers, and universities. Women pursue careers across business, education, healthcare, politics, and media while choosing clothing according to their own preferences. Some wear traditional attire, while others dress in contemporary Western fashion. This coexistence reflects the country's unique historical journey, where Central Asian customs blend with Islamic heritage and decades of Soviet influence.
That same mixture appears in the country's languages. Uzbek serves as the official language, yet Russian remains widely spoken, especially in larger cities and business environments. Travelers who know even a few Russian phrases often find communication easier, although younger generations increasingly study English as tourism and international investment continue to grow. For visitors, perhaps the greatest surprise isn't the affordability, the architecture, or even the history. It's the remarkable sense of safety. Many travelers comment on how comfortable they feel walking through city centers late into the evening, enjoying parks, markets, and cafes long after sunset. While basic travel awareness is always wise anywhere in the world, Uzbekistan consistently leaves visitors with the impression of a calm, welcoming society where kindness often outweighs suspicion. Beyond the modern avenues of Tashkent lies a country whose greatest treasures were built hundreds of years before skyscrapers ever existed. Few places on earth preserve the spirit of the Silk Road as beautifully as Uzbekistan. Cities like Samarkand, Bukhara, and Khiva seem less like ordinary destinations and more like open-air museums where every stone carries a story. Samarkand is perhaps the country's greatest jewel. For more than 2,000 years, this legendary city stood at the center of international trade, connecting east and west through endless caravans loaded with silk, spices, porcelain, and precious metals. Merchants speaking dozens of languages once crowded its streets, while scholars gathered here to exchange ideas that shaped mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy. Even today, walking through Samarkand feels like stepping into another century. The magnificent Registan Square immediately captures every visitor's attention. 3 towering madrasas surround the enormous plaza, each covered with intricate blue mosaics, geometric patterns, and elegant Arabic calligraphy. During sunrise, the first rays of light transform the turquoise domes into glowing masterpieces, while sunset bathes the ancient walls in warm shades of gold. It is difficult to stand there without imagining the countless traders, travelers, and rulers who once crossed this very square. Samarkand owes much of its grandeur to Timur, known in the West as Tamerlane. During the 14th century, he transformed the city into the capital of his vast empire, stretching across much of Asia. Although remembered as one of history's greatest conquerors, Timur was equally determined to make his capital the most magnificent city of its time. Architects, craftsmen, artists, and scholars from conquered territories were brought here to construct breathtaking monuments that continue to define Uzbekistan's identity centuries later. Not far away lies Bukhara, another city that seems almost untouched by time. While Samarkand impresses with monumental architecture, Bukhara charms visitors through its atmosphere. Narrow streets weave between ancient brick buildings, traditional workshops, peaceful courtyards, and bustling bazaars where artisans continue practicing crafts handed down through generations. Walking here isn't simply sightseeing, it feels like becoming part of history itself. For centuries, Bukhara served as one of the Islamic world's greatest centers of learning. Students traveled from distant lands to study theology, astronomy, mathematics, and literature inside its famous madrasas. Even today, many of these historic schools remain standing, their peaceful courtyards inviting visitors to slow down and appreciate a civilization that valued knowledge as deeply as commerce.
Then comes Khiva, perhaps the closest thing to a perfectly preserved medieval city anywhere in Central Asia. Surrounded by towering mud brick walls, its old town appears almost exactly as it did hundreds of years ago. Minarets rise above labyrinths of narrow alleyways, while carved wooden doors reveal hidden courtyards filled with flowers and quiet tea houses. Modern traffic remains outside the ancient walls, allowing visitors to experience a city that feels suspended in time. As beautiful as these cities are, daily life in Uzbekistan is not frozen in history. Markets remain the beating heart of every community, and nowhere is this more evident than Chorsu Bazaar in Tashkent. Beneath its enormous turquoise dome, thousands of people gather every day to buy fresh produce, spices, meat, bread, clothing, handicrafts, and household goods. The colorful displays create an explosion of sights and smells. Mountains of dried apricots, raisins, almonds, pistachios, walnuts, and spices line the stalls, while butchers expertly prepare fresh cuts of meat and bakers remove steaming loaves from traditional clay ovens. Negotiation is part of the experience. Sellers often greet customers with warm smiles, offering samples before discussing prices. Even if you have no intention of buying anything, many merchants happily invite you to taste dried fruits or sip tea while sharing stories about their products. These small interactions often become some of the most memorable moments of any journey through Uzbekistan. Family remains the foundation of Uzbek society. Several generations frequently live close together, supporting one another throughout every stage of life. Grandparents help raise children, family gatherings are frequent, and important decisions often involve consultation with relatives rather than individuals acting alone. Respect for elders remains deeply embedded in everyday culture, reflected through gestures of politeness and hospitality that visitors quickly notice. Marriage celebrations demonstrate this sense of community on an extraordinary scale.
Uzbek weddings are famous for their size, often bringing together hundreds or even thousands of guests. Preparations begin before sunrise, as enormous cauldrons are filled with rice, meat, vegetables, and spices to prepare enough plov for everyone attending. Cooking becomes a communal activity, involving neighbors, relatives, and friends working together long before the ceremony begins. Music, dancing, laughter, and endless food transform the celebration into an unforgettable festival that sometimes lasts well into the following day. Music itself plays an essential role throughout Uzbek culture. Traditional instruments such as the dutar and daira accompany songs passed from one generation to the next, while modern artists blend ancient melodies with contemporary rhythms. During public celebrations, spontaneous performances often break out as dancers invite complete strangers to join the festivities. Visitors frequently discover that saying yes leads to some of their happiest travel memories. One particularly fascinating tradition still survives in parts of the country: the art of tightrope walking, known as darbaz. High above cheering crowds, performers carefully balance across ropes suspended many meters in the air without modern safety equipment. These remarkable skills have often remained within the same families for generations, turning each performance into both entertainment and a living connection to centuries of cultural heritage.
Handicrafts represent another source of national pride. Uzbek artisans continue producing exquisite carpets, ceramics, silk fabrics, wood carvings, and embroidered textiles using techniques refined over hundreds of years. Every region has developed its own distinctive patterns and colors, making each handmade piece a reflection of local identity. Visitors exploring workshops often watch craftsmen patiently shaping clay, weaving silk, or carving intricate wooden designs exactly as their ancestors once did. One object found almost everywhere is the traditional ceramic teapot. Beautifully painted with vibrant floral and geometric patterns, these teapots symbolize the central importance of hospitality. Tea is never rushed. Conversations unfold slowly as cups are repeatedly refilled, allowing relationships to grow naturally over shared moments rather than hurried schedules. As evening approaches, many travelers expect quiet streets in a predominantly Muslim country. Instead, Tashkent reveals another unexpected side. Restaurants fill with families enjoying dinner, rooftop cafes overlook illuminated skylines, musicians perform live, and modern shopping districts remain lively late into the night. Young people gather with friends, couples stroll through beautifully maintained parks, and fountains become gathering places during warm summer evenings. The city's nightlife surprises many international visitors. Stylish lounges, cocktail bars, live music venues, and dance clubs operate alongside traditional tea houses, reflecting Uzbekistan's unique balance between heritage and contemporary life. Unlike stereotypes sometimes associated with the region, the atmosphere feels relaxed, welcoming, and remarkably diverse. At the same time, Uzbekistan faces genuine challenges. Although living costs remain low compared to many countries, average salaries are also relatively modest. Many families carefully manage household budgets, and millions of Uzbek citizens seek employment abroad, particularly in Russia and neighboring countries, sending money home to support relatives. These remittances have become an important source of income for countless households across the country. Whether you're exploring the breathtaking streets of Samarkand, getting lost inside the ancient walls of Khiva, bargaining for spices in Shorsu Bazaar, or simply watching the sunset over Tashkent with a cup of green tea in your hand, you'll discover that Uzbekistan offers something becoming increasingly rare in today's world: an authentic travel experience. Here, luxury isn't measured by five-star hotels or expensive restaurants. It's measured by meaningful conversations, unforgettable hospitality, incredible history, and the feeling of stepping into a place that still feels wonderfully undiscovered. So, is Uzbekistan really the cheapest country in the world? In many ways, yes. Your money can stretch further here than in most destinations, allowing you to enjoy incredible food, comfortable accommodation, efficient transportation, and world-class historical sites without spending a fortune. But the true value of Uzbekistan can't be measured in dollars. It's measured in memories you'll carry long after you've returned home. If you've ever dreamed of visiting a country where East meets West, where ancient civilizations still shape modern life, and where every day feels like turning the pages of a living history book, Uzbekistan deserves a place at the very top of your travel list. It may not be the most famous destination on Earth, but for those willing to venture beyond the usual tourist trails, it just might become one of the most unforgettable.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey across Uzbekistan. If you enjoyed this documentary and discovered something new today, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who loves exploring the world. We'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Which part of Uzbekistan surprised you the most, and which country should we explore next? Until our next adventure, stay curious, keep exploring, and we'll see you in the next documentary.